We now know the name of that 3-year-old boy who drowned over the weekend in Port Aransas. The medical examiner says 3-year-old Harrison Miller died from an apparent drowning yesterday. It happened around 10 a.m. between mile markers 2 and 3. Port Aransas PD says crews administered CPR on the boy when they arrived. He was taken to Bay Area Hospital where he died. Word is the boy was from Minnesota.